What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, former unified 3-belt WBA, WBC, IBF welterweight world champion, superstar boxer, Errol "The Truth" Spence Jr. Errol Spence Jr. is now 28 wins, 1 loss, no draw, 22 big wins by way of knockout. He is 33 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. He finally resurfaced back on social media, and he put up a cryptic post, as all fighters and boxers do, that you have to try to debunk, right? I believe they find entertainment in this, right? And so with that said, Errol Spence put up a post and he said, "I'm back," right? And he put the TD Jakes laughing emoji. He said, "I'm back," right? With that said, obviously everybody's under the mindset and the belief that he means he's back training and back working on this rematch to avenge that blemish and the first loss on his resume at the hands of now undefeated 3-division world champion, 2-division undisputed world champion, and the reigning unified welterweight world champion, who is widely acknowledged and recognized as the #1 best pound-for-pound fighter in the world, in Terrence "Bud" Crawford. Terrence "Bud" Crawford is now 40 wins, no loss, no draw, 31 big wins by way of knockout. He is 36 years of age, 5'8" with a 74-inch arm reach. Terrence Crawford has more knockouts than Errol Spence actually has fights. And they had a mega anticipated showdown, undisputed welterweight showdown, July 29th, Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena, to which Terrence Crawford was the victor. He stopped Errol Spence in the 9th round of the fight. And the fight itself, the environment, the event, and the anticipation in the fight itself lived up to the billing. But as far as the competitive part of it, it didn't, because it was one-sided in favor of Terrence "Bud" Crawford. Now, many people, as of late, they have many definitions and rhymes and reasons as to why Errol Spence simply didn't look like his normal self against his normal opposition. And most recently, Victor Conte of SNAT made a statement that Errol Spence ran the mountains the week of the fight with Terrence Crawford in Las Vegas, which I know to be true, because you can see on social media Errol Spence and his great friend, his best friend, his I want to say Jordan Isom, Jay Isom is like his assistant, right? And on their social media, you can see them running up the mountains July 25th. So was that the reason why Errol Spence didn't look like himself? Is that the reason why he lost the fight to Terrence Crawford? Is it the fact that he was weight drained from campaigning at this weight way too long, right? And staying there for this Terrence Crawford fight? Is that the reason why? Who knows, right? Only Errol Spence knows. So with that said, we know that they have a rematch clause, that Errol Spence activated the immediate rematch clause that is forcing Terrence Crawford to fight him next without any hiccups, right? He can't fight anybody else. He has to fight Errol Spence next. Contractually, legally obligated to give Errol Spence the rematch. Now, there's a lot of question marks and there's a lot of anticipation, again, that's starting to build because of the way people feel like there was something wrong with Errol Spence. And so because people feel like there was something seriously wrong with Errol Spence, right, then people feel like he can be a better, he can only get better in the rematch. And people want to see Errol Spence at 100% his normal self and give him the best opportunity to fight and beat Terrence Crawford. And so with that said, there's a lot of unknown. We know that there's a clause where it had to be a immediate rematch, but also we know details in the contract. It stated that the winner gets the opportunity to choose what weight class the rematch takes place in. And it also automatically sees the winner get the lion's share of the pie, so they don't have to negotiate the monies in the rematch. Obviously, Terrence Crawford won. Now, obviously, this was put in place more so for Errol Spence than for Terrence Crawford, right? Because Terrence Crawford could care less what weight class the rematch takes place in. If it takes place at 147, he's comfortable with that. If it takes place at 154, he seems to be comfortable with that. So Terrence Crawford wasn't saying going into the fight how he was struggling to make the weight. Now, he said it's not easy to make 147, but it's not a hindrance either. Errol Spence viewed it as a hindrance because he's been in this weight class for pretty much his entire career. And trying to make the weight is not easy, and he's a big welterweight. And so this contract was put in place as a security safety system for if Errol Spence was to lose, not for Terrence Crawford. The rematch clause and these details in the rematch clause is for Errol Spence. Now, that the fact that the winner gets to choose the weight, but Terrence Crawford is being pressured to rematch him at 154, he's really don't have the option to choose what weight class it takes place in. Terrence Crawford really doesn't have the option to choose because he's in a lose-lose situation. If he chooses to fight at 147, Errol Spence already has made it clear that he can't make 147 comfortably. And the fans already understand that. So Terrence Crawford will be criticized to the heavens if he decides to make this fight happen at 147. A close friend of his, Steve Nelson, so-called Steve Nelson, recently did an interview, and he stated in the interview that, for one, Terrence Crawford is not even motivated by the rematch. And for two, the rematch take place at 147. Why does it have to be at 154? And everybody jumped down Terrence Crawford's throat. And Terrence Crawford didn't even say it. So-called Steve Nelson said it. His close friend. But the fact that people know that they have a close relationship, he even made Terrence Crawford's uniform for the fight. So he made his outfit for the fight. So you know they're extremely close, right? And because of that, people took it as Terrence Crawford actually said it. If Steve Nelson is saying it, this must mean this is how Terrence Crawford feels. And so because of that, people immediately, content creators, fans, everybody, they immediately took it out on Terrence Crawford. It was Terrence Crawford bashing week. How he's ducking. He owes it to Errol Spence to fight at 154. So this contract was never in place. These details in this contract was never in place to benefit Terrence Crawford. It was always in place to benefit Errol Spence. And rightfully so, because you got to understand that Errol Spence was the A side going into the fight. So the fact that people say that Errol Spence conceded to everything Terrence Crawford wanted to make this fight happen is not true. Did he take a huge leap of faith to make this fight happen? And did he concede to a lot of things that many people would not have agreed to him conceding to? 1,000%. But as far as to say that it didn't benefit Errol Spence at all is false, because it did benefit him. And the rematch, everything put in place is to benefit him in the rematch. For the weight to be at a higher weight class, that's the benefit Errol Spence. For it to be an immediate rematch, that's the benefit Errol Spence. The only benefits that Terrence Crawford, which is a big benefit, don't get me wrong, is that Terrence Crawford gets a bigger share of the pie automatically. They don't have to negotiate the money. So when you look at it from that standpoint, no doubt it benefits, that benefited Terrence Crawford largely. But again, it was put in place to secure Errol Spence should he lose. And he lost, and now it's going to secure him. But again, back on topic is that Errol Spence said, "I'm back." And people are automatically assuming it means he's back in the gym. I think it's more so that Errol Spence is back on social media. Right? He says, "I'm back." He hasn't been on social media this entire time. So people took it as if he's saying, "I'm back," as far as boxing and training. Because when we watch these fighters' social media closely, we want any type of tip and any type of, encouragement that we get ready to get a big fight or what's next, right? But that's simply not what he meant. He meant, "I'm back," I believe, via social media. Right? He's back on social media because he put up a few posts. He hadn't been on social media in an extremely long time, since the Terrence Crawford fight. We saw him on his significant other's social media as she posted things, but we haven't seen him post things on his since maybe a week or two after the fight, period. Which is, we are in January now of 2024. That fight took place July 2023. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It looks like Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford can rematch in March or April. So I can't wait to see it. I believe it's going to be at 154. And I can't wait to see how it unfolds. And I can't wait to see it. I'm intrigued by the rematch. Initially, a lot of people wasn't intrigued by it because of the way the first fight played out, but I'm actually intrigued by it. So I want to see what improvements, what changes Errol Spence makes going into the rematch. That's what's so intriguing. And how is Terrence Crawford going to make adjustments? And does he even need to make adjustments? So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. That's all I got for y'all. I'm gone. Peace.